All right.
No, don't start it out like that.
Okay.
This is the show where the guy who plays a villain is psychic and girly friend talk about each episode. Geronimo Jacksbeard.
Hi, it's Geronimo Jacksbeard. We are back for one more time. We're a little dusty.
We're very dusty. It's been 3 months.
We've been in the closet for a while. A lot has happened.
Today is August 23rd.
Oh, I want to say this is kind of our Flash Sideways episode, which is why we have a different theme song.
It's been an interesting 3 months
Has.
after the show ended, and we left Hawaii, and moving back to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Some bad stuff happened.
Well, we lost Nunu.
Yeah.
We're actually going to go to Hawaii in a couple weeks and see her marker.
Yeah, we want to just thank everybody who sent emails and cards and donations to...
Yeah, the number of letters I got from the Humane Society just saying, how many more people had donated to them on her behalf was really, it was really, really humbling. It was very nice of you.
Yeah, it was a pretty horrible event, and so to have so many people there for us was really nice.
Yeah. Oh, I want to talk about also people who want to send mail, regular mail, to me or us. Just hold off for a little bit. There'll be a new P.O. box
After
in
October.
about maybe October, November, and then that'll be, a more permanent place to send stuff, and it'll be So just wait, and we'll give you a place to mail stuff for those who still want, autographs or just general correspondences.
Yeah, but as you said on your blog, as far as the stuff from the auction,
Yeah, the auction
was
just
this
happened.
weekend.
Yeah, you might not want to send me Hurley stuff from the auction.
because he'll keep it.
I was trying, when I wrote the blog, I was trying to do the thing where you write keep it and it draws a line through it, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't work when I did it, so I don't know why it wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, you might not get your golf flag back, or your Empire Strikes Back notebook, or your whatever else.
Hurley's passport,
Oh, yeah, Hurley's passport,
Hurley's...
Hurley's underwear, whatever else they
Jump
sold. They sold
suit.
everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're back in Los Angeles, and it's definitely been a major
Transition?
transition.
I guess
and
so, yeah.
Having to get used to being back, as opposed to being on beautiful Hawaii where it's calm and relaxing.
Oh, I wonder, should we do one more episode for the DVD release?
That's tomorrow.
The DVD comes out tomorrow?
Yeah.
So this is our episode for the DVD release. Awesome.
What do you mean the DVD release?
I don't know if we wanted to discuss anything. I don't know what's on the bonus features, if there's anything there to discuss about.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe if there's a lot of questions
Maybe
and
we'll
stuff
write a
people
blog.
might have. All right, we'll see if we can. If any new stuff comes up in the DVDs, we'll see if we can find and address it. But our intention was that this is definitely our last show.
Yeah. And then Jorge's about to say, but this is our last.
Sure.
We're moving
You want
on.
to do an extra 12-minute epilogue to...
The epilogue to the final GJB.
So let's get into listener emails.
All right. Steph from Alexandria, Virginia. Now, these emails probably came in a couple months ago.
No problem.
So, just to let you know, some of these might have, we're answering your question kind of late. Steph from Alexandria, Virginia. Now that Lost is over, I'm trying to figure out what TV shows I should get into, either currently running or on DVD. So, what are your favorite shows, Jorge?
Right now, I'm actually watching The Colony. Oh, we love Pawn Stars. We've been getting into a lot of reality right now, but it's the summer,
Yeah.
so there's not a lot of narrative. I love Friday Night Lights, and I'll say it over and over again. It's an awesome show. What else?
Real Housewives.
The West Wing. I'm a big fan of Aaron Sorkin. So The West Wing, Sports Night, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip are all really great shows. They aren't like Lost per se, as far as
Nothing
if
is
you're
like
into
Lost.
sci-fi, mystery, and the unknown. But just great shows about people. They definitely are.
I'm having a Curb Your Enthusiasm marathon every day
She has.
in my head.
She's quite
If it's not on
enjoyed that.
TV, it's in my head replaying because I'm obsessed with it right now, and I think it's the greatest thing that was ever created.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen the new Battlestar Galacticas, it's also
Oh, yeah.
just a great series. That might be the closest to a Lost replacement, I think, that you
Battlestar
can
Galactica?
pick. Yeah, in my opinion. Ben Flood from Sydney, Australia. What was the first scene you filmed on Lost, and what was the last scene you filmed on Lost? Jeez. The first scene I filmed on Lost was the scene when
Wasn't it Kuloa?
Jack gives me the watch to take care of Claire, who is going through contractions.
The watch?
Yeah, he gives me his watch. He says, "Here, you got contractions." She takes his watch off. He gives it to me. He says, make sure that, when they're 2 minutes apart, call me or something like
Oh,
that.
I don't even remember a watch being involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, the scene was longer than what made it to the pilot. Because he calls my name and I say, the plane crashed. He says, "Yeah, I know." He says, "Listen, I need you to do." So, because he hands me the watch and I go, "Oh, you got to be kidding me," when he gives me the watch. Because now I just, was in this plane crash and now I have to take care of a pregnant woman. And
You're so selfish.
my last scene was the scene where we had to we were like lowering Jack down into the
Waterfall, cave.
pit of destiny, and in Castle Grayskull. That was the last thing.
Oh, speaking of Castle Grayskull, I saw an awesome He-Man at the costume contest the other day. This guy
Someone
had
came dressed as He-Man. at the
No,
Lost
he was
auction?
dressed. He was dressed as LaFleur,
Yeah.
and so he had on a blonde wig to be Josh,
Yeah.
but it looked like He-Man wig. It was kind of cool.
Oh,
So he
really?
was like He-Man / LaFleur.
Maybe it was just Prince Adam.
That was fun doing the costume contest judging.
Right. You were
There was some really good
celebrity guest
Oh
judge.
yeah, celebrity. There was some
From
really
Geronimo
good
Jackson's beard.
Jackson's beard, yeah, Geronimo Jackson's beard. There was some really
Clearly not a listener.
good costumes there. Mother, she was voted the best. Mother. There's no other like my mother. Okay. Okay, I feel like we've answered this before,
But let's
but
answer
since
it
it's
again.
the end, I think we'll just answer it again, or we'll answer it for the first time. I don't know. But Allison from Mamaroneck. Allison from Mamaroneck, New York, says, "I was curious as to
Mamaroneck.
how you met each other. Have you been together since the beginning of Lost? And if
No.
not, Beth, were you a fan of the show before you met Jorge?" Okay, I thought we answered this, but maybe I just answered it in emails or something. So, yes, I was a fan of the show before I met Jorge, but we met online in, 2006, and had kind of an online talk. We talked for a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I lived in LA, and he came to LA for a movie premiere or something, and I was like, "Hey, you want to hang out while you're here?" And that was the start of what became Geronimo Jack's beard.
Yes. It was weird because obviously she knew who I was and what I looked like, and
You
the
knew what I
mystery
looked
about
like.
her because her profile picture was the Elephant Man, and I thought, if anything, it'll just be a really interesting pen pal.
Yeah, right. You were like, "I can't wait to see this hot chick."
We were, I just started finding excuses to send her messages.
Oh, he said he missed
God.
me. Yeah,
Like, oh yeah,
I hooked him.
mummies. Yeah, I like mummies too. Look at these pictures of me with some mummies.
You did? I don't even remember that.
I did.
Oh, I don't even remember. Oh, I do. Yes, I do.
Whatever.
Sweetheart.
Whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, we
Whatever.
met online originally and then talked for a while online. Met in person and then 2 months later,
Hit pause for a second.
I moved to
Oh.
Aloha.
What do we got next? Michaela Walsh from Melbourne, Australia. Jorge, you had several emotional scenes where you had to cry. How do you manage to do that so convincingly? I know you said for long shots it's like laughing, but what about close-ups? Do you get really into character and think about the scene, or perhaps think of something sad from your own life?
Interesting question.
This talking about
Your process.
that is always really weird, and it's hard not to sound like a douche sometimes.
What?
But
Why?
I don't know. That's one of the things. It's always it just feels weird sometimes. Crying. Basically, this. Here's the deal. All emotions are in you already. As people, we find ways to cover them up. So, I know what sad is, and I know how to call it up when I need it. I don't need to relive something in my past. I can just kind of be in the moment of the scene and let the emotion come up. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm thinking the thoughts of the character, because that's also not necessary for the actor, but it's just something to do. And then other times you have a little external help to provide. If you want a little waterworks when you don't have them, you can also get a
The
little help
drops
for that.
in your eyes.
There's
Or the
it's not
sniff
drops.
things?
They can blow menthol in your eyes. Also, just some places I found, in some places that we shot, if I just didn't blink, my eyes would start watering. And so I would do sometimes stuff there too.
Okay. Nick Lowe says, what did they make you drink in the finale when Jack made Hurley the new Guardian? Because it looked like dirty water. Dirty.
What did they make me drink?
Well, what did you drink? Was it just bottled water?
I drank water. No, that
wasn't
that muddy,
dirty.
That muddy
They put
water.
dirt in it?
Muddy water with
Muddy Waters?
I think there was like E. coli mixed into it.
I know, you had some issues for like 5 days after you came home
Yeah.
from shooting that.
Yeah.
There was leptospirosis.
This piece here of my pinky is the only part that's left in my original body. It was water. Yeah, it was just water.
Did they put brown, like something in it? Or no?
No.
It wasn't brown?
No,
All right.
I mean, it wasn't brown. He dipped, like he reached in. He kind of like reaches the bottle down out of the camera range and grabs one that's like, I guess, clean water. Jamie DeBorn from London. I was wondering if there was a code word for the final scene. Also, I was wondering, what did you guys think happened at the end? Did Ajira leave the island and Hurley and Ben rule the island, or did all it never happen because of the wreckage on the beach in the credits? Oh man, really? I hope this. Okay,
Yeah, let's get it
for
on
the
the
last
table.
time,
Clear the air.
disregard the wreckage in the closing credits that you saw on TV. That was something that ABC threw in
Yes.
to allow you to sit there and reflect on the 6 seasons of Lost that you had gone through before you went right into the nightly news.
Yes, that was not Damon and Carlton.
It was not story.
That was not anything to do
The
with the story.
Ajira plane took off successfully. People on the plane lived their lives
Until
and
they died.
died eventually.
Right.
Hurley and Ben ran the island for a while until they also died at some point. And then the stuff in the church all happened after all of that stuff.
After everyone died. But everyone survived the plane crash.
Everyone that you saw on the show that survived the plane crash really survived the plane crash.
The wreckage has nothing to do with the
Yes.
end.
Yes.
Now-
I don't understand why that's so confusing.
It's
No,
very
and
confusing
it's
for
not-
people, and it was
Listen,
it
if
was
that
kind
was
of
the
a
sto-
mistake
if
to
they
put
were
that
gonna
in the end.
if they were going to tell the story that we all died in the original plane crash and wipe out the whole
Show?
previous 6 seasons, they would have had our bodies laying in there too.
Well, I heard somebody say, well, it was originally Damon and JJ were going to kill Jack in the pilot anyway. So that ending was basically would have really been the end of the pilot, him dying, and the last 6 seasons were just filler. Like the whole show was filler between the beginning of the pilot and the end of the pilot.
Oh man, that's a terrible theory.
No, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I heard somebody say that. There wasn't a code word, was there? I don't remember anything being code. I mean,
No.
Jin and Son's wedding.
Oh yeah, that was the code.
I guess that was
Jin and Son's wedding.
Jin and Son's wedding was
There
code
was
for the church scene.
The church scene was Jin and Son's wedding, and they even had the woman walking around in a wedding dress who
Wasn't Yun Jin, but looked
yeah,
like her kind of.
supposedly, I guess, was supposed to look like Yun Jin from a distance.
Not really.
All right. So,
All right.
James, your question kind of brings up the fact that there is still some extra unanswered business to maybe also address at this time, I guess.
Yes, we have some things that we've been questioned about numerous times since we started
Yeah.
the podcast, and you've been questioned about, I'm sure, even without the podcast, before the podcast even started. And so we would like to answer those questions now.
Okay, then go for it.
Number 1, how did Hurley get his nickname?
Oh, who knows? The thing is, when the show started, and we knew we were going to series, all the writers at that time who were working on Lost were assigned certain characters to come up with some kind of basic origin story for all of them. For Hurley, Javier Grillo Marxwatch basically took away Hurley as a real name and made it a nickname, and to give him the name Hugo Reyes. And then for the nickname of Hurley, there was kind of a suggestion just from what we've seen in the pilot, and when he first mentions that he didn't want to talk about why he's named that he may have been squeamish, and perhaps Hurley came somewhere out of a puking episode.
Ew.
But that's strictly speculation. When I said that, I knew I got some agreement from one of the writers who was on staff at the time, because there was a time in season 1 when the writers would come to Hawaii, and there was a writer's presence more on the show, and then later on the writers didn't come to Hawaii. We would just call like Damon and Carlton on the phone when we had a question. So that's kind of what I got evidence-wise as to what.
So there was never like a mystery that you knew about.
There was never like a scene that got cut out of an episode,
Right.
Or
No.
Or there
Okay.
wasn't like in Flashback and Numbers where I'm like sitting at the toilet going, "Give me a glass of water."
Oh God.
Oh God. That never happened.
Okay, next. Oh, God. All right. You're really gonna
It's
puke
amazing
if you
how
keep doing it.
pretending to puke is so close to actually really puking.
Ew, don't.
It's like drowning.
Please, seriously. All right. Did the Man in Black ever have a name in any of the scripts?
Not in any production scripts.
No, he never did. And they actually called him Samuel at the auction the other day.
They did?
Yeah, and I was like, where did they get that from? Because I never saw Samuel in any script.
Samuel.
I mean, we looked through him to make sure, and I never saw Samuel anywhere.
Yeah, Samuel, I think, was on a treatment.
Oh,
An
really?
early treatment.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, I don't know if it was ever on a network draft. It was definitely never on a production draft.
Okay, here's a big one. Was it Hurley reading the numbers when the French team crashed on the beach?
Oh, that's a good question. It definitely sounded like me. I definitely, at one point, recorded the numbers.
At one point around the time that they were filming that episode.
After they were filming it. I think
Well,
after
yeah.
they had filmed it.
ADR, yeah.
And that's all I can really say there. There was never
It was.
anything about
It was.
me. I mean, are they asking if it was my voice on the
Yes,
recording?
yes.
I'm pretty sure
A million
it was.
people have asked, was it
pretty sure it
Hurley
was.
saying the numbers? And
Well,
I was there when you recorded it in the ADR booth, and it sounds exactly like what was aired on the beach
I'm pretty
with
sure
the French
it was,
team.
but it was never something that was addressed in the story enough to say it's definitely Hurley. Because honestly, if you go to the pilot, that's not.
That's not you.
Oh no, that's something else.
What?
Never mind.
The iteration.
Right. You're right.
Right, that's something else. But okay, so the people who are still theorizing on the show, even though it's over, are saying now Hurley brought himself to the island because
Right.
you heard the numbers, and so that's.
Well,
So when did you record though? When did Hurley?
Hurley
record
never
them?
heard himself say the numbers.
But when did Hurley record them? Just one day at the Dharma when he was working at Dharma, he decided to record
That's what I'm
them?
saying. We don't know. That's not information that we have.
Okay.
So I'm not going to write Lost.
Okay, another thing, the last and final thing that we have is something that we haven't been asked about, but it's something that was the biggest thing that was edited out of the scripts. It was a storyline that.
Where are you going with this?
What? It's a storyline where the girl in the purple sweater and Hurley came together, and no. It's a storyline.
Hurley comes across her dead body.
Revives it with his magical powers.
And brushes the flies off of it.
Ew!
And they make out.
Ew, gross. I'm gonna puke.
And then the story goes, What are you doing? Son of a bitch.
This is a storyline that got edited out. I mean, there was small things that got edited out of the script, or edited out of the final thing that aired. Like the fact that Kate Austin was on the wall in the script,
Yeah.
crossed off, but then they didn't show it. Or small things, I can't think of anything else other than that and the thing I'm about to mention that were edited out, that we had to like.
The boats.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
Wasn't there something where...
Firing at the boat, season 5.
Yeah, when there was like... When they were getting shot at... There was that
Yeah.
episode where they were getting shot at when they're in the boat.
Miles and Sawyer or something.
And then there was a part when they were jumping...
the sky was going from
Through
day to
time.
night. Yeah.
And...
And they didn't know who was shooting at them. You never saw who it was. But in
Right.
season 6 you did, but that got edited out. And who was it?
Forget now.
It was Ben, wasn't it?
I don't remember now.
Okay, maybe we will have to have a final podcast when we're back in our own house with the scripts
Oh
again.
man, really?
You don't remember?
I almost felt like it was... Well, wait, who was in the boat? Who was getting shot at?
Juliet, Miles, Sawyer. It was like...
And Locke?
And Locke, I think? Yeah, I think it was everybody who was... But
But I felt like Locke was in the boat where they were
Shooting.
as
Yeah.
well. Like Locke was shooting at
Oh!
himself.
Yeah! That is what it was. That is what it was. Yeah. What was that? Yeah, it was. It was like Locke shooting at himself.
Oh, because
I
Locke
think.
wasn't dead yet. Well, why would he shoot himself?
Because he was Man in Black.
But why would
Because
he
he was
shoot-
Man in
Why would
Black.
he want to shoot Locke when he needed...
Because it wasn't it Man in Black and Ben got into the canoe when they left the Azure people to go to the other island?
Is that when it happened? When
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Man.
I'm sorry, we don't know. But here's the big thing that we'll
Well, that
update. We'll
thing's
post a
pretty-
blog.
Now that we think about it, that thing is pretty damn big.
Yeah, that got edited out. But here is the other thing that we can post a blog when we know for sure. when
Whatever
we
that
settle
was.
into our own house and we get our stuff out of storage and we can look at the scripts again. Because right now we're living in Michael Emerson's house. Is that what you wanted to say?
No.
Oh. But the one thing that was kind of was going to be a storyline, and then we had to edit it out of not just one script and one podcast, but several podcasts because it was talked about several times before they decided to nix it, was the fact that Jacob was Ilana's father.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was early on in like 604 or 605.
No,
That-
it was like there was like a thing. Yeah, there was a moment where it was like just like a line first.
Well, she just says, because he was my father.
Yeah.
because he was my father, and then they changed it to
Like a
he was
father.
the closest thing I had to a father.
Right.
And so when we watched it, and she said it was the closest thing I had to a father, I was like, oh no, because then we knew we had to go back in and
Change about
edit so
3
much stuff out.
episodes. Yeah.
But there was never more to it, right? It was just he was my father, and then later on there's something Ben refers to something
But
like,
you know what? I think it's kind of good that they took it out because.
Oh, yeah.
Let's face it, the way these fans go, it'd be like, oh, then who was her mother? We never learned about her mother.
Right.
Why didn't we learn
Well,
her
they're going
mother's
to
story?
now.
And then we
Now
go,
they're going to.
Okay, thank you for the story about Alana's mother, but what about her grandmother? How did her mother?
her godmother?
How did her mother get born so that she would end up meeting Jacob and they would end up having Alana? And they're like, okay, that's good, but how did they get on the planet?
All right. So nothing was ever really
It's the same
more.
people who were like going, yes, but what about the Egyptian story on the island when the Egyptians were there making the
Well, that's what I
statues, or
said when-
What about,
when-
you know...
6:15 aired. It was like, what? Well, what about the beginning of everything?
Yeah. What about the volcano that...
I
created
understand
the
that though.
island?
If they had added that, of course you'd want to know who Ilana's mother is. Who did
course you
Jacob
would.
hook up with? But they never. I mean, they never
Because then it would be
elaborated.
like something like, oh my god, it's Juliet.
Yeah, right. They never elaborated though. It wasn't something. It was mentioned like, oh, I can see why she's so upset. Ben said something like that because it was her father. But it was never like, oh, and then here's her backstory. We never got. There was never a script.
Because Alana kind of looks like the pregnant lady who washed up on shore.
Rousseau.
The other one.
Oh, Claudia, the
Yeah.
hot chick.
The one who had
The one in
twins.
right. She looks. Oh, so you think that Jacob had sex with his dead mother
No.
and
No,
had
I
Ilana?
don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. But I meant like generationally.
Oh, she looks like her grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh no. Anyway,
I'm just blue sky.
there was something to blow your minds. Ilana was Jacob's daughter, for real, in the original script.
All right, so now we got some outtakes to share with you from our podcasting, and you kind of get a taste that podcasting is not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, because every time I try to talk, you burp. Is that why?
You know,
My
when I go and listen to this, and only my burps make this compilation,
I
I'm
never
gonna be
burped.
pissed.
I never burped.
Right.
Not on the thing.
Right.
Okay, anyway, there is just a parental advisory, even though we had to put one at the beginning of the podcast or on the
Yes.
iTunes or whatever, but this
That-
is the area where there may be some F-bombs dropped due to frustration with Jorge that I had at some point. So I think there's just once. I think it just comes up once. So here, enjoy this compilation of weirdness.
What?
Did you just burp?
No.
What is that?
I don't know. All I smell is your body spray.
Oh. It smells like burp. Maybe the dog farted. So Locke. Dude, seriously.
Oh, because we also don't have an Alana story. We should probably get one of those,
Oh.
probably.
Yeah, especially since now we know that Jacob's her father.
Yeah.
What?
I'm
You look
trying to
scared,
remember- I'm
like
trying to
I
remember-
wasn't supposed to say that.
I'm trying to remember if we still know that or not, because I got those new pages. But I think we do.
Oh man. Well,
We-
when the show airs, we'll go back and
Yeah, we already
Sure, we
discovered
didn't
that
say
we're going to
anything.
have to change one of the previous
we don't want to get in trouble.
previous podcasts because the script changed from.
Yeah. Something.
We'll have to do a podcast, I think, at the end of the whole season to be like, these were the changes that we
Yeah.
had to adjust for.
I'm just going off of what the script says, which mentions the fact that there's names on the ceiling, and the weird thing is that he. Oh God! Don't tell me. What is it? What is it? What is it? Don't tell me. Don't tell me. What is it? Oh my God! Seriously? Don't. What is it? Don't.
There's something that was on me. And
Oh.
I I touched it, and then I realized I thought it was a scratch, but like it was an itch. But I touched it, and there was something on me. So then I grabbed it and kind of tossed it aside.
A freaking bug?
I don't know. We need more light here. This is making great podcasting.
There's something right there. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Kick it over there by you.
Let me get a light. Hold on. Here, you vamp while I go get a light.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
Okay, I'll vamp. This is the vamp. We used to live in a house before this one where we had a cockroach problem. And one night, as I laid in bed, there was something under the sheet with me, crawling up my naked leg. Lo and behold, I turned on the light, and there was a cockroach crawling up my leg. And then, after, there was a cockroach that crawled across Jorge's lips while in bed. And there was, ew, what is it? What is it? Ah! It is! It is! It is! No! No! Why is it in here? Please! What's going on with the computer?
That thing's dead. Well, when you scream, it thinks that there's feedback.
How is it dead if you just felt it crawling
How do
up
you know
your
that was
leg?
it?
Oh.
I don't think that was it.
Oh, great. So there's more?
I think it was something else. Is it this thing?
Babe,
Because the thing I touched, I thought was squishy.
come on, man. Please.
I thought it was squishy.
Alright, start talking again.
All right, come back down here.
I'm scared.
Get off the table.
Press it and just go.
Do you want to go somewhere else? Is it?
No, the whole house is open. We're
The whole-
screwed. I mean,
How about?
In that.
Is there a bathroom we can record?
we can. I mean, that's
we
probably
could go sit in
quieter.
the tub.
We can all hang out in the tub. The three of us. But that we have to videotape.
Yeah, exactly. That would be a video podcast. He never talked to Jack as Christian, as the ghost of Christian or whatever.
Right.
So that, I don't know, to me, like, I get it, you know. I mean, I'm writing a book, and I don't know how exactly the ending is gonna happen. Stop looking at my fucking armpit. I'm serious. Why do you keep looking? Stop. What? It's not funny. Why do you keep looking there?
And what is that in your mouth? Fingernail?
Yeah.
The
It's a toenail. Why? Why every time I go like this, do you have to look at my armpit?
because you're showing me your armpit.
But why do you have to look at my armpit? It's not like a boob.
Because I can see it. You
What?
don't see my armpit when I do this. I see yours.
But why do you have to look at it?
Don't show it to me then. And that's it. That's our final GJB.
Possible final.
Last thing before we go, we put together a little highlight reel for all of New News contributions to the Geronimo Jacksbeard podcast.
A little tribute to her, and here it is.
And the dog is barking.
That's so cute.
And he's like,